We are about halfway through this season of She-Hulk, and we got a chance to speak to director Anu Valia, who's responsible for episodes 5, 6, and 7. Check it out.
I've got court documents filed by Titania Worldwide LLC.
She's suing me over the name She-Hulk? But that's my name.
So I want to kick things off by asking you about something I heard you once say in an interview, actually. I think you were talking to Pete Chapman, and you were saying that as a first-time TV director, people were hiring you because you could add something new and unique to the whole proceedings. And I was wondering what you thought that was, like what you thought you would be bringing to the picture when you got that call from Kevin Feige. Now, I'm sorry, I'm just assuming it's Kevin Feige. He's like Santa Claus, just calling people going, hey, you're in the MCU, right?
He didn't call me. I kind of wish he did. I mean, I don't know if I would even like rang me on the phone. But no, that's, oh my God, you're researched.
I know. Look at me.
I know. I think that's like also anytime you're coming in as a filmmaker, especially as a guest director, you want to add yourself. Like the only way you're of any use to any storytelling is if you have something personal to add. And so I related so much to Jennifer's story, like who she is as a person, like being self-deprecating, not always believing in herself, but also being like, wait, I think I'm really good at this. And like, you know, like that sort of, people say imposter syndrome in work, but I think it's more complicated than that. Then also not dealing with your work-life balance, not always giving time in your social obligations because you're working so much. Like there's so much, the fear of being a diversity hire. Like, there was so much in the show that I could relate to. So it was a very natural, I was like, oh, I feel like Jen, like protect Jen at all costs. She's the greatest. And then when Tatiana stepped into her shoes and played her, I also just like, you as her is so wonderful. Like I just felt very tied to her and very close to her. So then coming in as a director, I just wanted to make sure that you always were like feeling for her the specificity of what she's feeling, because I think even the things I'm saying sound kind of vague and broad stroke like, but there's real specificity. Like for example, in the 5th episode, when dates are on the stand, and then you know that guy who's like really nice and into She-Hulk but not into her, like is really real. And it's like, it's not like she's heartbroken because she really wanted to date that guy. It's like, that hurts. I'm Jen though. I've always been Jen. So if I was never Jen, never She-Hulk, you would have never liked me. And he was like, yeah. And the fact that he's so nice makes it even worse because it feels very truthful. You can't even be like, screw that guy. It's like, oh man. And Tatiana plays that so well. The shades of that are so truthful. And so as a director, that's like all you want to, on a Marvel show that you kind of expect to be grand and large, the emotions are still quite subtle and real. And I think that's like dream.
Can you talk to me about finding the comedy in the MCU and specifically in She-Hulk? Now, I know the comics have always been kind of funny and comedic, but what was it like discovering that tone for the show?
Well, you know what? A lot of the credit goes to Jessica and the writers, because that's in the scripts. Like they're very funny scripts, and then they hit you with like an emotional punch. And then like Kat also did the groundwork for that for the first 4 episodes. So you sort of just kind of pick that ball up and you go, okay, like we need some jokes, and like we need to make sure we're hitting these jokes. We need to make sure, you know, the funny scenes really reveal themselves. The cast takes it away. Like you also play around with the tone in the edit too. So it's kind of like a constant conversation. But I didn't like create the tone. You know, you just kind of keep. And also it kind of changes episode to episode. These episodes are so different, so you're sort of just like kind of just always taking stock, I guess.
And kind of building on what's come before.
Exactly.
So I just finished watching episode 5, and based on that ending, I'm assuming that you've had the incredibly stressful task of properly reintroducing Daredevil to the MCU. So no pressure, right? Like, what was that like?
Reading that script, I was like, oh boy. Like, yeah, you feel that. You're like, okay, will this make people excited? Will this be like, will people be into this? Like, yeah, of course you're thinking about that. It's like such a big, and it was cool. I was reading and I was like, oh my God.
You're like, I get to do this?
No, oh my God, totally. Yeah.
So pull back the curtain just for a little bit. And I'm always curious about how the Easter eggs and the throwaway references work. Like, I mean, do you guys sit down and you go, hey, I really like this bit. Could we like put that in for fun? Like, how does that come together? Or is it all already in the script?
It's like a larger brain trust. And so like I'm not even privy to all of it. Like I couldn't even tell you parts of it because some of it happens in and it's like so there I feel like there's a lot of stuff that's been talked about beforehand. There's stuff that goes in, there's different departments are putting in things because you know you need a lot of people to be talking to each other to be able to do that. And then yeah, but like there's a lot of thought. There's a lot of thought that goes into that.
I swear to God, I want to meet the guy who's in charge of continuity because his brain must be just, yeah. What I also love with what you and Kat and Jessica have kind of done is casually break this notion that the MCU has to be one unending story. Like these episodes feel very standalone. And I think that's a great thing because it means my mom can watch it and she doesn't feel like she has to watch 25 movies before to get what's going on, right? And was that consciously done?
I think that's like every showrunner I think has thought about that because when you're making a TV show, you want to serve the larger storyline, which this definitely has a larger storyline. But then you also want people to enjoy it and like be able to come to it and especially with the legal half-hour comedy, that's also the basis
right.
of shows too, is that you want to be able to come in and enjoy the case of the week. And like, that's also a part of the makeup of the show itself. This is very much a part of the MCU and it doesn't take place off in some siloed space. And I can't speak to the scripts because the writers really did a lot of work. But I think you have to have fun with the format. And the format is one that you should be able to enjoy it, even if you've never seen, you know, you should enjoy the cases. You should enjoy the characters.
But yeah, I'm all out of time, but congratulations. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you.
Why didn't you trademark your own pseudonym?
Why would I? Did Doctor Strange have to trademark his name? Did Thor?
You chose two examples of people who use their real names.
Mm-hmm.
That was director Anu Valia. What do you think of this season of She-Hulk so far? Sound off in the comments below. Don't forget to check out our other interviews right here on YouTube. Love, like, tell your friends, tell your family, share this stuff. You know what to do.